Thanks for joining me again this week. I wanted to discuss something that comes up periodically at work, and it's when you're doing your thing and a nurse asks you to update Mr. So and so's family member. Oh, and they're a physician. Now, when I said that, did you get super excited about it? If you're anything like me, you may have had some thoughts pass by that this is going to be a bit more of a challenging conversation, or they're going to be more demanding, or maybe something like, I got to look things up in more detail because it's going to ask me all of the minute details. So, to a person outside of medicine, being a physician family member may seem like an advantage, but unfortunately, I think these interactions a lot of the times are colored with a lot of friction, unfortunately. And I think part of it is to do with the expectations that both sides have. And we can only have control over how we're behaving, and we don't dictate how other people are behaving. So the only useful thing is to really figure out what we're thinking. And I want you to pay attention in this circumstance when I said that the family member is a physician, what kind of thoughts came up for you? For me, I realized where I would get a lot of my negative thoughts about the interaction would be in my expectation about how the family member should be behaving as a physician. I would feel more kind of negative emotion when they would be more demanding, because I would think, well, they know the system, they shouldn't be asking for X, Y, and Z because they know it'd take a long time. And sometimes I would have expectations about what they would potentially want for the goals of care discussion of their family member. And you already, with those thoughts, go into the conversation with a much more defensive stance. So a few things that I have found quite helpful in guiding these conversations is just to hold space for the family member to be a human. Sounds super simple, but we don't do it well. At the end of the day, they are a family member of a sick patient. And they're going to want to try to wear their physician hat really hard. Chances are they have other family members who are looking at them for answers. They want them to come up with solutions. And oftentimes they're dealing with that pressure and they're bringing that to you. They're going to want to ask you about all of the zebras. They've already had days to think about the differential. Even before you met the patient, they've already consulted all of their friends. And they have like a textbook differential diagnosis ready to go. And your job is, when you hold space for them, just to tell you what they're thinking. I allow them to actually tell me their differential diagnosis. And when I'm not in the space of just blocking everything they're saying, then I can let them know, well, this makes sense, but this is why I don't think this does. And then you hold space and you trust your own judgment. When I'm in a defensive mode, then I find myself kind of being anxious and then kind of not paying attention to me or to the family member. So when I really try to tune in of what the conversation is about, then we can both walk away with it with a clear slate. And it doesn't mean that you then abide by every request that you have. It's actually much easier then to say no. And they might not be happy with it, but like I said, you can only control your own reaction and your own thoughts. And they're allowed to have their own thoughts and their own expectations. Thank you for joining me. It's a great mental exercise for me, and especially trying to apply it to real life at work. But it's a work in progress. It's definitely not all roses, and there's a lot of mental homework that needs to be done, especially after stretches of work. And right now it seems like the stretch just doesn't end. But I hope you find this helpful. I hope some of it resonates with you. And if you have any thoughts, please share them with me. Bye.